Next tonight, 3 Southern Rail workers have been suspended after a video emerged of one of them drenching a homeless man with dirty water. It was filmed by a passenger who was shocked at what she'd seen, and it also alarmed the Community Secretary, James Brokenshire, who demanded the company investigates what happened and does so swiftly. Our correspondent Simon Harris reports from Sutton.
A man lying on a pavement has just been given a soaking, and it's no accident. The railway worker with a bucket full of filthy water seems to know exactly what he's doing. It stinks, it smells, he tells the homeless man before finally emptying the bucket. The woman who filmed this is horrified.
Because that's absolutely disgusting. Disgusting behaviour of another human being.
Today at Sutton Station in South London, there was no sign of the homeless man, identified locally as Toby Sawyer, a father and grandfather. He's often to be found outside the station. There was no sign either of the staff involved. The train company Southern has suspended them. The suspended rail workers aren't just in trouble with their bosses. They might also be prosecuted. The police are treating what happened as common assault and are trying to find more witnesses. Andy Fulker helps run a local soup kitchen for the homeless and knows Mr. Sawyer well.
To treat a human being in that way is disgusting. You know, especially we know this man very well. He comes to our soup kitchen, like we obviously feed him, give him clothes, sleeping bags, and give him the support he needs.
The video was posted on a Facebook page called We Hate Southern Trains. Delia Swan is a member of the group.
Nobody deserves to be treated like that, and I do actually think Southern need to step up and take the appropriate actions to reprimand the man, and even, you know, even if it does mean him losing his job.
Southern said it wanted to apologise to Mr. Sawyer and help him, but first the company had to find him.
I've been made aware this afternoon that he was admitted to hospital. I don't know under what circumstances that he was admitted to hospital. I believe it was the British Transport Police who called an ambulance for him. We've been trying to locate the gentleman involved, so obviously we can apologise and talk with him about how we can help him going forward.
The video, it seems, was only part of the story. It was filmed by a woman who told us they started pushing him with a mop. They started throwing water over him, and that's when I started filming. Tonight, it's not clear where Mr. Sawyer is. Simon Harris, ITV News, Sutton.
Good evening. In the Commons today, one of London's MPs told the Prime Minister his constituents no longer feel safe. On the streets of the capital, it is clear why there is now real concern about rising levels of violence. In just 24 hours, 5 people were stabbed. One of them lost their lives. Another was a schoolboy rushed to hospital still in his uniform. Both of those attacks were at London stations. Well, Mark Simmons, an Assistant Commissioner from the Met Police, is here with me tonight. We'll be speaking to him in just a moment. But first, here's our correspondent, Simon Harris.
For parents in London, the end of the school day is increasingly a time to be worried. Late yesterday afternoon, police were called to South Ruislip Station to reports of another school-age victim of violence. Outside the station, a 14-year-old boy was lying on the pavement in his school uniform, his stomach slashed with a knife. Ali Shirazi works in a nearby garage and thinks he saw the attacker.
I just saw the young gentleman passing from end of the road, and he had a knife in his hand, and he was kind of angry and he was shouting, and we thought the young fellow, they just had an argument, but we just ignored it, and after 20 minutes we saw the helicopter coming down and picking up somebody. They told me he's been stabbed.
Fortunately for the police, there are plenty of CCTV cameras at the station and on local shops. It's a fuzzy image, but at the top of the picture, one camera captures the moment the boy was attacked. This was another brutal 24 hours on the streets of London, a day which saw no fewer than 5 stabbings, one of them fatal. Close to Ilford Station in East London, a 20-year-old man was stabbed to death. He was the 17th Londoner to die violently in 2019. Police tried without success to keep him alive on the pavement. In Parliament, a North London MP appealed to the Prime Minister for money to stop the violence. Inevitably, it turned into party politics.
My constituents do not feel safe. Does the Prime Minister recognise the severe consequences of underfunding our police service? And will she commit to restoring funding for community policing to pre-2010 levels.
In relation to funding for the police, the Metropolitan Police will receive up to £2.5 billion in funding in 2019-20. That's an increase of up to £172 million on 2018-2019. But if he also wants to ask questions about funding for police in London, perhaps he should speak to the Labour Mayor of London.
The mayor is usually willing to engage in the party political ping-pong and point the finger of blame at government cuts. But he also has another well-rehearsed message.
Londoners must know people carrying knives. Family members must know somebody leaving their home who's left home with a knife. Please, please, please report this to the police so they can keep all of us safe.
The 14-year-old attacked at South Ruislip station has now been allowed home from hospital. The police have arrested a 15-year-old in Beaconsfield. He's being held on suspicion of causing grievous bodily harm. Simon Harris, ITV News, Ruislip.
Tottenham's MP David Lammy took aim at the celebrities raising money for Comic Relief today, accusing them and the charity of promoting tired and unhelpful stereotypes of poverty in Africa. He said the TV star Stacey Dooley was trying to be a white saviour after she posted a picture of herself working with the charity in Uganda. Our correspondent Simon Harris has more.
We'll be loving you.
It's Comic Relief's signature. Celebrities travelling to Africa.
One of the doctors here took me to meet a beautiful little girl.
Raising millions of pounds for good causes.
Do it again for someone else tonight. Good job.
But when former Strictly contestant Stacey Dooley posted these pictures of herself online, it lit the blue touch paper with one London MP. Tottenham's David Lammy tweeted, "The world does not need any more white saviours. This just perpetuates tired and unhelpful stereotypes." Dooley tweeted a reply, "David, is the issue with me being white? You could always go over there and try and raise awareness."
It's patronising. Why can't we find African celebrities? Why can't we film direct on the night from Africa, using African filmmakers to tell modern stories about that continent as well as the poverty?
Francis Longley runs the British arm of a Kenyan charity which raises money to improve healthcare for girls and women in Africa. The organisation benefits from Comic Relief's fundraising.
I think sometimes it can be helpful to an audience to see someone they're familiar with who then takes them on that journey. But it's important when they get there that you're also hearing the voices of local people telling their own stories in their own words.
Comic Relief said it invited David Lammy to make a film for the annual appeal, but he didn't respond. It's not the first time the charity has had to weather this storm. Ed Sheeran's trip to Liberia was also criticised for reinforcing stereotypes. Simon Harris, ITV News.